Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is the 1906 Cleveland Naps AL MLB baseball season. Again, the Naps were playing in the American League, and home games here in Cleveland were at League Park at East 66th Street and Lexington Avenue. And the 1906 Naps had a tremendous year, really something. They finished in third place with a record of 89-64, winning percentage of .582, really good. You're getting close to 600. That's impressive. 5 games out of first. First place team was the Chicago White Sox, who were 93-58. Second place, the New York Highlanders, 90-61. And they were going to be renamed the Yankees before too long. Third place, the Cleveland Naps, 89-64. Fourth place, Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics, 78-67. Fifth place, the St. Louis Browns. They had a better year, 76-73. Sixth place, the Detroit Tigers, who would soon become a contender with Ty Cobb, 71-78. Seventh place, the Washington Senators, 55-95. Not quite, well, as they say, Washington was first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League. Though they were not in last, they were in seventh place. And eighth and last place, the Boston Americans. Hard times for the team that became known as the Red Sox shortly. They were 49-105. Oh boy, 45 and a half games out of first place. Now the Naps were in or near first place until August. They were a very strong contender. However, injuries to Bill Bradley and Harry Bay were a problem. And Addie Josk, our ace pitcher, was ill and missed a month. We had 3 20-game winning pitchers, 1906, and the Naps' batting average was .279, the best in the American League. Before the season, the team had installed a state-of-the-art drainage system at League Park, and the stands had been spruced up, they'd been painted, and the press box enlarged. So they'll hopefully get better coverage from the media, from the newspaper reporters. They had a very strong finish, 25-7 their last 32 games, and the team set a team record for attendance, 325,733. Very small by today's standards, but a total of, or an average of 4,230 fans per game at League Park. The Chicago White Sox were known as the Hitless Wonders. They had a late season 19-game winning streak, which really made it tough on Cleveland. Still, there was no Sunday baseball at League Park, and this was a financial problem for the club because most of the teams could play baseball on Sunday, the best day of the week for attendance. In August, the Naps had injuries, and they were 11-14, so that really was problematic. Now again, the Naps player manager, the starting second baseman and manager was Napoleon Lajoie, who had an outstanding year again. Lajoie hit .355, 48 doubles, 9 triples, 91 RBIs, 20 stolen bases in 152 games. And Lajoie played for Cleveland from 1902 to 1914, so about the middle of those 12 years in Cleveland. In August of 1906, the Cleveland Press recorded this, quote, "If Napoleon Lajoie broke a leg or an eardrum in today's game of ball, or in any wise dismantled himself so that his second basing days were over, he would not need to worry about whether the neighbors would bring in something to eat. The big Frenchman has about 25,000 cold metallic simoleons stowed away in various safe places. Lajoie has earned his little fortune, if ever a man did. He has drawn hundreds of thousands of lovers of the national game through the turnstiles to see, quote, the greatest player in the world, and 9 days out of 10 has made good." Since 1901, Lajoie had been the highest paid player in the American League. He was still a bachelor. He was actually frugal and saving his money, but he was generous. He gave sports writer Grantland Rice a large barrel of china for his wedding. In 1906, there was a publication, Napoleon Lajoie's Official Baseball Guide, which was an annual publication published by Al Spalding. And there were advertisements in which Lajoie appeared for Coca-Cola, Heptal Splits, which was a laxative, and Louisville Slugger bats. Also, the Napoleon Lajoie Official League Ball. And then there was this other one, Lajoie Chews Red Devil Tobacco. That was an Ask Him If He Don't. That was another advertisement in the magazines and newspapers. Red Devil Tobacco. Spring training in 1906 was in Atlanta, Georgia. And before spring training started, Lajoie spoke to his team and said this, quote, "I want you all to get out and hustle. Hustle first, last, and all the time. Hustle as much in the ninth inning as you do in the first. Hustle as much in September as you do in April. And think while you hustle. That's all." So that was his speech at the beginning of the spring training. On September 2, Lajoie was spiked in his ankle. He was a second baseman. These base runners would be coming in, and this was a real danger for second baseman or shortstop covering second. And there was so much blood that, quote, "some of the players were sickened just by looking at the wound." He had 2 stitches, and the next day, against doctor's advice, Lajoie played in a Labor Day doubleheader against the first-place Chicago White Sox. Lajoie was 6 for 8 in the doubleheader, and Cleveland swept Chicago those 2 games. In the first game, Lajoie was ejected in the latter innings because he threw dirt at the umpire. Lajoie was the league leader in hits and doubles. Shortly after the season, he had 214 hits and 48 doubles to lead the American League. Shortly after the season, he ended his bachelor days and got married to Myrtle Smith on October 11th. He met her in Cleveland. They got married in Niagara Falls in Canada on the Canadian side, and they had their honeymoon there. There was also this very iconic Napoleon Lajoie Coca-Cola advertisements that were very nostalgic, and at least for the older generation who are now gone. One depicts Lajoie standing, and the other one is really good. It actually depicts a scene at could be League Park, where it shows the fans in the stands and a woman drinking Coca-Cola, and then you can see Lajoie's face on the field. He's sort of posing, looking up toward the camera. So that's a real nice advertisement. Now, the other starting players, Harry Bemis was the starting catcher. Bemis hit .276, 13 doubles, 5 triples, 2 home runs, 30 RBIs, 8 stolen bases in 93 games. And Bemis was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1910. Fine player. First baseman in 1906 was Claude Rossman, who had a really good year. He hit .308. Wonderful. 13 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, 53 RBIs, 11 stolen bases in 118 games. And he had played for Cleveland in 1904, then left and came back for his final year in Cleveland in 1906. Claude Rossman. Terry Turner was our outstanding shortstop. Turner hit .291, 27 doubles, 7 triples, 2 home runs, 62 RBIs, 27 stolen bases in 147 games. And Turner was with Cleveland from 1904 to 1918. He really had a good run. The all-time Cleveland stolen base leader before Kenny Lofton. Terry Turner. Bill Bradley was back at third base. Bradley had a fine year, hit .275, 16 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 25 RBIs, 13 stolen bases in 82 games. Bradley played for Cleveland from 1901 to 1910. On July 19th, he was hit by a pitch by New York pitcher Bill Hogg and had a broken wrist and was out the rest of the season. So this really hurt the club. And this Bill Hogg was did not regret what happened. And he said this, quote, "The big Frenchman is next on my list." In other words, he's threatening to hit Lajoie. I think today you get a fine for saying something like that. You're not supposed to hit the players, or you're not supposed to admit that you're trying to hit them. Now, the outfield, we had regular outfielder was Elmer Flick. Had another really good year. He hit .311, 34 doubles, 22 triples, a home run, 62 RBIs, 39 stolen bases, and 157 games. And Flick was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1910. He led the league in 1906 in stolen bases and triples and runs scored. Really good, real good average, and he had power and speed. Tremendous player. Elmer Flick was in the Hall of Fame. Another regular outfielder was Jim Jackson. Jackson had kind of a tough year. Jackson hit .214, 13 doubles, 2 triples, 38 RBIs, 25 stolen bases in 105 games. And this was Jackson's second and last season in Cleveland. Jim Jackson. Bunk Congleton was another regular outfielder. Congleton hit .320, really good. 13 doubles, 5 triples, 3 home runs, 50 RBIs, 12 stolen bases in 117 games. And Congleton was in the middle of his 3 years in Cleveland from 1905 to 1907. Bunk Congleton. Now the bench players, actually, George Stovall was an infielder. He played a variety of positions, but not one, which would lead him to be considered a starting player, although he really was. Stovall hit .273, 19 doubles, 5 triples, 37 RBIs, 15 stolen bases in 116 games. So he was playing a lot. And Stovall was with Cleveland from 1904 to 1911. In September, Stovall had a broken hip. A piece of his hip chipped off and was rubbing against the hip, and he was in severe pain. The doctor designed a splint, and Stovall continued to play, believe it or not, with a broken hip. George Stovall, tremendous player. Harry Bay was a spare outfielder. Bay hit .275, 8 doubles, 3 triples, 14 RBIs, 17 stolen bases in 68 games. Bay was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1908. He was actually a starting outfielder. On July 18th, he was injured. He had a wrenched knee and was out the rest of the season, so that really hurt the team, the injury of Harry Bay. Nig Clark was a spare catcher. Clark had a wonderful year. He hit .358, which is really something for a catcher. 12 doubles, 4 triples, a home run, 21 RBIs, 3 stolen bases in 57 games. And Clark played for Cleveland from 1905 to 1910. Nig Clark. Another bench player was Jap Barbo. Barbo was a third baseman. He hit .194, 25 hits, 5 doubles, 3 triples, 12 home runs, 5 stolen bases in 42 games. And this was Barbo's second and last year in Cleveland. Jap Barbo. Ben Caffin was another spare outfielder. Caffin hit .194. He had 20 hits, including 4 doubles, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases in 30 games. Caffin was from Peoria, Illinois. He died in Peoria in 1942 at age 63, and his MLB career was just with the Cleveland Naps in 1906. He was on the team from August 21 to October 7th, so the latter part of the year. They got him in the lineup. Ben Caffin. Another spare catcher was Fritz Buelow. Buelow hit .163, 14 hits, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, 34 games. And this was Buelow's third and last season with Cleveland. Fritz Buelow. Another bench player was Joe Birmingham. Birmingham was an outfielder, played mostly center field. In his career, he became a manager as well. In 1906, Birmingham hit .275. He had 11 hits, including 2 doubles, a triple, 6 RBIs, 2 stolen bases in 10 games. Birmingham was from Elmira, New York. He died in Tampico, Tamaulipas, Mexico, in 1946 at age 61. I don't know if he was on vacation there or retired. There's no information about that. His career average was .253 with 7 home runs, 265 RBIs. He was also a manager for 368 games. His record as a manager was .170 and .191, winning percentage of .471. And he was with the Cleveland Naps from 1906 to 1914 and was the player manager from 1912 to 1915. They were the Naps and then renamed the Indians. He also managed the Toronto Maple Leafs Maple Leafs in the International Association in 1916, Joe Birmingham. Another spare catcher was Malachi Kittredge, who also managed in his career. Kittredge hit 100. He had 1 hit in 10 at-bats in 5 games. Kittredge was from Clinton, Massachusetts. He died in Gary, Indiana in 1928 at age 58. Career average of .219, 17 home runs, 390 RBIs. Kittredge played for the Chicago Colts, Louisville Cardinals, Washington Senators, Boston Beaneaters, and Cleveland Naps from 1890 to 1906. So this was the last year of his 16-year MLB career. He'd been the manager for the Washington Senators in 1904. Not a very good hitter, but he had a very strong throwing arm. His record as a manager with the Senators was 1-16, winning percentage of .059 before he was fired. Malachi Kittredge. Another spare player was Bill Shipke, who played some second base. He batted 6 times, did not get a hit in 2 games, and struck out 3 times. Shipke was from St. Louis, Missouri. He died in Omaha, Nebraska in 1940 at age 57. Career average of .199 with 1 hit, 1 home run, and 29 RBIs. Shipke played for the Cleveland Naps and Washington Senators between 1906 and 1909. Bill Shipke. Now the pitching staff again was led by the incredible Addie Joss. As a hitter, Joss hit .210, 21 hits, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs, 3 stolen bases in 36 games. Joss's pitching record was 21-9. Really good. ERA of 1.72. Incredible. 31 starts, 28 complete games, 9 shutouts and a save. And Joss was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1910. He had a heavy workload in 1906. In one 7-game stretch, he pitched in 4 games, made 3 starts and a relief appearance. Sometimes he only had 2 days off between starts, so he was a real workhorse. And again, he earned a $500 bonus for winning 20 games. Addie Joss, tremendous future Hall of Famer. Second in the rotation was Otto Hess. Hess hit .201. He had 31 hits, 5 doubles, 2 triples, 11 RBIs, a stolen base in 53 games. Hess's pitching record was 20-17, an ERA of 1.83. Wow, really good. 36 starts, 33 complete games, 7 shutouts, and 3 saves. And Hess was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1908. Otto Hess. The third 20-game winner was Bob Rhodes. Rhodes hit .161, 19 hits, a double, 6 RBIs in 38 games. Rhodes' pitching record was 22-10, with another guy with an incredible ERA of 1.80. They had 3 starting pitchers with ERA is under 2, which is really, really good. Bob Dusty Rhodes made 34 starts, 31 complete games, and he had 7 shutouts. And Rhodes was with Cleveland from 1903 to 1909. Bob Dusty Rhodes. Bill Bernhard was the 4th starting pitcher. Bernhard hit .212, 21 hits, a double, a triple, 12 RBIs in 31 games. Bernhard's pitching record was 16-15 with an ERA of 2.54, 30 starts, 23 complete games, and 2 shutouts. And Bernhard was with Cleveland from 1902 to 1907. Bill Bernhard. Another pitcher was Harry Eels. Eels hit .188. He had 6 hits, including 2 doubles and RBI in 14 games. Eels' pitching record was 4-5 with an ERA of 2.61, 14 games, 8 starts, and 6 complete games. Eels was from Danbury, California. He died in Los Angeles, California in 1940 at age 60. His MLB career was just with the Cleveland Naps in 1906, and they called him Slippery, Harry Slippery Eels. Another pitcher was Happy Townsend. Townsend hit .133. He had 4 hits, an RBI in 17 games. Townsend's pitching record was 3-7, with an ERA of 2.91, 17 games, 12 starts, 8 complete games, and a shutout. Townsend was from Delaware. He died in Wilmington, Delaware in 1963 at age 84. His career record was 34-82 with an ERA of 3.59, 473 strikeouts. Townsend pitched for the Philadelphia Phillies, Washington Senators, and Cleveland Naps between 1901 and 1906. So this was the end of his MLB career. His actual name was John, although they called him Happy. In 1904, he led the league in losses with 26 and wild pitches, 19. In 2005, Townsend was inducted into the Delaware Sports Hall of Fame. Happy Townsend. Earl Moore was another pitcher. Moore batted 10 times, did not get a hit, struck out 7 times in 5 games. His pitching record was 1-1 with an ERA of 3.94, 4 starts and 2 complete games. And he's with Cleveland from 1901 to 1907. Moore had a foot injury in 1905 that he did not recover from. The muscles in his foot were torn loose, and he was flat-footed, and that had a very unfortunate effect on his pitching. Earl Moore. And finally, Glenn Liebhardt was another pitcher. Excuse me. Liebhardt batted 8 times, did not get a hit. He scored a run in 2 games. Liebhardt's pitching record was 2-0 with an ERA of 1.50, 2 starts, 2 complete games. And Liebhardt was from Milton, Indiana. He died in Cleveland, Ohio in 1956 at age 73. Career record of 36-36, an ERA of 2.17, 280 strikeouts. And Liebhardt, his career was with the Cleveland Naps from 1906 to 1909. His son Glenn was also an MLB pitcher. After the regular season was over, there were no. You went back then. You went directly into the World Series, and it was an all-Chicago World Series. The first time a World Series was played in one city completely, and the Chicago Cubs were the National League champions. Had a record of 116-36, winning percentage of .763. Now this is the best MLB record of all time. However, they were defeated 4-2 in the World Series by the American League champions, the Chicago White Sox, whom they called the Hitless Wonders. Their batting average was .230, which was the worst team batting average in the American League. So that was pretty tough for the Chicago Cubs, having that incredible record but not winning in the World Series. So that's the story of the 1906 Cleveland Naps. Boy, it was a tremendous year. You know, at the time, I'm sure it was disappointing that they didn't. You always want to win the pennant, win the World Series, but still, in retrospect, you can look back and say, wow, they had a really, really good year. God bless the fellows who played for the Cleveland Naps in 1906 and everyone else associated with the team, including the fans, especially the Civil War veterans and the Spanish-American War veterans. Captains of the Cuyahoga, lovers of Lake Erie, Terminal Tower Power, fans of the Free Stamp Statue and the Fountain of Eternal Life, Euclid Avenue Electricity, Progressive Field Pals, Quicken Loans Arena enthusiasts, First Energy Stadium friends, Severance Hall stalwarts, Tribe, Browns, Cavs, Monsters, and Gladiators rule Cleveland, City of Champions. Cleveland is the best location in the nation on the north coast of America. New York is the Big Apple. Cleveland is a plum. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.